So, in addition to loving model trains, I'm also an antique car aficionado, and I often go to car shows. And tonight I went to a really neat one. It was there's a lot of muscle cars and hot rods there. And honestly, the sort of the hot rods that I like the most are the ones where they look very normal from the outside, but when you look under the hood, there's a big motor, and it doesn't have to even be a shiny motor. It can just be kind of like a dirty motor that they made to kind of look like the rest of the car. And we have an interesting case here of where that's kind of been done to one of these two locomotives here, and I'll give you a guess as to which one it is. And it's not the one that's in the back. Today we're going to be looking at this really odd kit bashed this oddball kit bashed Milwaukee Road. I think it's a GP9 here that I got recently, and we'll get right into it. So it isn't every day that you see something quite like this under the hood of a what looks to be like an Athearn GP9 body. And an early one at that. It's got the early style handrails with the holes drilled in them rather than being folded over. But what's under the hood is even more interesting, in my opinion. That's your normal Lionel 0594 back in the background. That's, I think, 1964-ish. And if you notice, the frames are identical, or as close to identical as two frames can get. But there's something completely different going on here. You got an interesting band drive, and this looks very modern. This looks like it was done within the past, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years. It's very nice and very well done. You can see they used Allen head cap screws for these. I believe they're custom made, or at least custom cut aluminum brackets, and they have bearings in them. They have literal ball bearings at the end of the drive shaft there, which is absolutely insane. And these couplings are crazy too. It's all like, this is nuts. This is way overkill for this frame. I mean, these Lionel frames aren't the greatest frames to put something on. I mean, they got worm drive, but they tip real bad. You can kind of see how I'm tipping it back and forth. That's not generally what you want on something like this. And it just makes no sense to me. Like, this motor, I looked it up. It's a Faulhaber 2233 T006S. It's like a very high-end German servo motor. I can't remember for the life of me if it's brushed or coreless. But that's like easily like a $80 or a $90 motor, at least from what I was able to find. They are very expensive, and the amount of fab work that went into this just to put it on a chassis like that, put a shell like this on it, and keep the horn hook couplers, and put it on a Lionel chassis of all things. This must have been something really odd. Like, I have no idea why they would ever do this, but it's pretty neat. All things considered, this is probably the only one of these in existence that is quite like this. It is incredible how everything is done. Like, this is professional level work on a chassis that's worth maybe $5 at a train show, and with a shell on it that may be worth like $3 or $4. Absolutely overkill, but I love that it was done, because it shows that you don't have to have high-end modern stuff in order to model something really well. You just have to have ingenuity and use what you have and figure out what you got behind it, and then you can come up with beautiful pieces of work like this. This is, oh my goodness. In a little bit, I'll show you a little video of it running, and it runs so smooth, aside from the belt slip, because I don't really even want to pull this apart to change the belts. It's really only this drive belt that needs to be changed, which is unfortunate because that's the one that's the deepest in there. So at some point I'll change the drive belt on that and it'll run flawlessly. But it's amazing. This may be my new almost daily driver for Lionel motored or Lionel chassis type stuff. It's amazing. Anyways, we'll roll the footage of it running here. So as you saw, it runs very well for what it is really, and it actually runs at quite a slow speed too. It runs at a more prototypical speed than that chassis does. I mean, good grief, that thing will run like 200 scale miles an hour, and this thing, I don't know if it cruises much above 60 scale miles an hour. It's really, really well done. So, anyways, that'll probably about do it for this video. I've rambled on long enough about how I love this chassis, even though it's kind of pointless if you think about it too much. But I really would love to know who did this and why they did it. It's like, I don't really know why. Maybe somebody was building this for like a train layout display that, you know, was on display in a public area, because this is really quite overbuilt for what it is. But if anybody has any ideas, this came out of the Pacific Northwest, if I remember correctly. This came from Seattle, Washington. So if anybody from out that way sees this video and knows who in the world built this thing, I would love to know, because this is quite insane. And if you do know who did it, I've got at least one other chassis similar to this one that I wouldn't mind to be done up in the same way as this one. But my budget's not probably quite this expensive. So anyways, that'll about do it for this video, guys. We'll see you on the next one.